see Lawrence of Arabia, if you have seen history, if you see the Lawrence of Arabia and the pact between King Abdulaziz, in which they agreed on formation of Israel. And if you see even King Hussein, who were a rival of the Saud family, they themselves, when they created Jordan, Iraq, and Syria, they were on board with the creation of Israel. And even you can find Lawrence of Arabia house still and like a museum there in Jordan if you go to Jordan there. So then we come into Egypt. Egypt, when you talk about the previous speaker, he spoke about Jamal Nasser. With Jamal Nasser, if you study Jamal Nasser time properly, you will see that it was more like a territorial war. It was more like for Suez Canal, it was more like for Sinai Desert. It was never for Al Quds Sharif. I mean, if you take Palestine as Al Quds, the wars never happened for Palestine. They were more like a territorial war. If you go down why Syria and Israel had a war, I mean, why the coalition was having Syrians. So it was a war for Golan Heights. Again, it was territorial war. There was not a single mention that these wars are happening for Al-Quds Sharif. I mean, I'm sure you all are here and the topic is here. What is Palestine in real? I mean, there are two things you have to see. One is the territorial integrity of Palestine, and the other is the connection of Muslims with Palestine. If you go by Camp David, again, I mean, now I'm going into Palestinians themselves. There are divisions there. If you go into the Camp David Pact, Bill Clinton, Yasser Arafat, West Bank settlement, it was allowed by Palestinians on a mutual agreement. And then at the same time, the state of Palestine, the presidential authority of Palestine, it's not a state right now under the occupation of Israel. So the presidential authority, PLA, you can say, they agreed and they accepted the entity of Israel, and they agreed on being living in the same areas on the divided West Bank in a very bad manner. That thing which happened at that time of Yasser Arafat is coming now in front of the West Bankers. Now, if you go to Gaza Strip is Hamas is fighting the jihad, I think the name. They are fighting, but the thing is that you can see that Gaza, the borders are with Egypt. I mean, if Egypt opens their borders, everything is open. Egypt is a Muslim country. Why they are not opening the border for Gaza? So it is very easy to be connected with the subject emotionally. I myself am very much connected with the subject, but I recognize Palestine as Qibla Awwal. I recognize Palestine as Al-Quds Sharif. But if you recognize Palestine on the nationalist basis,
then simply it's a war happening for territory. It's a war happening for land.
Everyone is safeguarding their own territory. Yes, I agree that Israel has occupied the territory of Palestine, but here we are confused. The Muslim countries, they are confused. I mean, either it is a religious connection, which it should be, to be honest. I mean, it was a religious connection when Salahudin Ayoubis liberated it. It was a religious connection when Hazrat Umar, at time of Hazrat Umar Raziallah Ta'ala, we liberated it. But is this a religious connection now? I don't think it is a religious connection since the formations of all the countries, since the Khilafat went down. Even you see that then Khilafat was down, Kamal Ataturk, the Turks recognized Israel on the spot in 1948. So first you have to see why are you fighting. If you are fighting on a religious basis, then yes, it is valid. But if you are fighting on a territorial basis, then there are forums
which should come forward
and take up the matter. And the main forum is OIC. So here, if you see, there is some friction between Saudis and other Arabs. It's a natural thing when you are grooming your economy, when you are going fast and you want to be more than another state. So you do all these things. So now Saudi Arabia is building this Neom city, which is on the border of Jordan. It includes actually Jordan, some parts of Jordan, and then it is connecting to Israel. The other side.